Good afternoon.
Hello and welcome to InstаФорекс Economic News TV channel with us, Anna Kasatkina.
And Kate Nidachna.
You are watching the weekly currency and commodity market review.
So what trends did investors observe in the foreign exchange market during the previous week?
The US dollar was trading on a weaker footing for several trading sessions in a row, despite the release of encouraging statistical reports.
So what was the driving force behind the decline?
The recent slew of solid figures from the American labor market failed to reignite demand for the greenback. The majority of market participants have already realized that upbeat economic fundamentals in the United States cannot in any way guarantee that the Fed will indeed lift its interest rates in April and June. Nevertheless, on Friday, the greenback managed to recoup some of its earlier losses versus a basket of major currencies on the back of optimistic jobs and factory activity data delivered from the United States. The US dollar index, which tracks the greenback's performance against the 6 major currencies, shed 1.69 by the end of the week, closing Friday's session at the level of 94.58. The index racked up quarterly losses of more than 4% over the past 3 months. The number of employed Americans in the non-farm sector of the U.S. economy increased by 215,000, exceeding the forecast for a gain of 205,000. The unemployment rate came in at 5% against the projected 4.9%. Moreover, the Institute for Supply Management reported that the ISM Purchasing Managers Index for the U.S. manufacturing sector climbed to 51.8 in March from 49.5 recorded earlier, beating the forecast of 50.7. This dynamic once again confirms that foreign demand is gradually gathering momentum. The past week saw a surge in the euro exchange rate. The single European currency added 228 pips against its American counterpart. Ahead of the US non-farm payroll numbers released on Friday, the euro hit the highest level in 5.5 months at 1.1437. Somewhat later, the pair commenced a correction lower and closed at 1.1389. Janet Yellen's speech delivered at the Economic Club of New York provided downside pressure for the US dollar throughout the entire week. The comments made by Fed Chair considerably lowered market expectations for a near-term rate hike in the United States. The central bank cited external risks for the US economy, including sliding oil prices and the uncertainty surrounding the Chinese economy, saying that they call for more caution of the monetary policy tightening in the United States. That was all about exchange rate movements on Forex.
Thank you for the currency pair overview, Kate.
You're welcome, Anne. And what's new on commodity flow?
Oil prices were moving lower while gold was trading in a mixed fashion.
And what brought about these tendencies?
Oil came under pressure amid widespread concerns about whether the leading oil producers will be able to reach an output freeze agreement. Gold was fluctuating up and down on market speculation whether the pace of U.S. economic growth is strong enough to sustain a rate hike in the coming months. On Friday, oil futures suffered a sharp drop after Saudi Arabia's deputy crown prince said that the kingdom was not going to put a brake on its oil production unless Iran agreed to join in. These remarks added to doubts over the likelihood of the much-awaited output freeze deal. On the London-based ICE Futures Europe exchange, Brent for June delivery fell by 4.12%, ending the week at $38.58 per barrel. Futures for Brent crude oil logged a weekly slide of 4.45%. On the New York Mercantile Exchange, WTI contracts for May settlement dropped in value, hitting daily lows around $36.63 per barrel. Over the week, futures for West Texas Intermediate crude oil printed a 7% dip after it was reported that the U.S. crude oil stockpiles rose to fresh record highs. Meanwhile, the latest batch of U.S. statistics published on Friday pushed down the value of gold. As a result, the yellow metal lost 1%. The upbeat reports convinced some market players that the Federal Reserve may raise its benchmark Fed funds rate ahead of schedule and even accelerate the pace of rate hikes this year. On the COMEX division of the New York Mercantile Exchange, gold for June delivery edged down to its daily lows, around $1,210.30 per troy ounce. However, by the end of the trading session, gold prices managed to pass some losses and tick higher to $12.10, closing the week at $1,270.50.
Anna, thank you for the commodity market review.
You're welcome, Kate.
You have been watching the weekly currency and commodity market review on the ИнстаФорекс TV.
It was presented to you by me, Anna Kasatkina.
And me, Kate Nedachina.
Have a great day. Bye.
See you!